Will the Zoom host please start the webinar?
Webinar started.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the New York City Hybrid Hearing on the Subcommittee on Public Siting, Disposition, and Landmarks. Please silence all electronic devices at this time. Also, please do not approach the desk. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and we will kindly assist you. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation. Chair, we're ready to begin.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you all for your patience. Welcome to the meeting of the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sightings, and Dispositions. I am Councilmember Camila Hanks, and I'm the chair of the subcommittee. Today, we are being joined by my colleagues, Councilmember Brennan, Marte, and Salam. Before we begin with today's agenda, I will remind everyone that this meeting is being held in a hybrid format. For members of the public who wish to testify remotely, we ask that you first register online, and you may do so by visiting www.council.nyc.gov/land use to sign up, and then sign into Zoom and remain signed in until you have testified. For anyone with us today in person wishing to testify and you have not already done so, please see one of our sergeants to fill out a speaker's card, and we will call your name at the appropriate time. For anyone wishing to submit written testimony on the items being heard today, we ask that you send it via email to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Include the land use number and project name in the subject line of your email. Video and testimony will not be accepted. I will remind members of the public that this is a government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent unless called to testify. The witness table is reserved for the people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings at testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the sergeant for inclusion on the hearing record. Okay, so today we will have a hearing on the proposed landmarking of Old Cronton Aqueduct Walk in Councilmember Sanchez's district in the Bronx. We will also have a hearing on the project known as Resilient Homes Staten Island in Councilmember Carr's district in Staten Island. And we will also be voting on a number of items previously heard by the subcommittee. Now turning to our votes. We will vote to approve LU 80 for the landmark designation for the New York Public Library, Tremont Branch, in Councilmember Felice's district in the Bronx. We will also vote to approve land LU 81 for the 104-108 West 139th Street ANCP cluster in Councilmember Salam's district in Harlem. The vote is to approve designation of the Urban Development Action Area, approval of an Urban Development Action Area project, the related disposition, city-owned land to a developer selected by HPD, and a real property tax exemption pursuant to Article 11 of the Private Housing Finance Law. Together, these actions will facilitate the development of an affordable homeownership housing project with approximately 73 units in Harlem. We will also vote to approve LU 84 and 85 for the Red Hook Coastal Resiliency Project in Councilmember Aviles' and Hanif's district in Brooklyn. This project will facilitate the acquisition of real property and changes to the city map as part of this important flood protection system initiative. Members of the subcommittee who have questions or remarks about today's item, please let me know now. Seeing none, I will now call for the vote to support the local council members to approve LU numbers 80, 81, 84, and 85. Before council call the roll, I would like to recognize that Majority Leader Farias has joined us. Council, please call the roll.
Chair Hanks.
Aye.
Councilmember Brannan.
Aye.
Majority Leader Farias.
I vote aye.
Councilmember Marte.
Aye.
Councilmember Salam.
I vote aye.
Chair, the vote is currently 5 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and if okay with you, we'll keep the vote open for members who may join later.
Thank you, Council. We will leave the vote open for any subcommittee members who may be joining us later. I will now open the public hearing for a pre-considered land use item under ULURP number N 240-327-HIX for the LPC designation of the Old Croton Aqueduct Walk as a scenic landmark. This designation includes the linear public park located along the Aqueduct Avenue between West Kingsbridge Road and West Burnside Avenue in Fordham and University Heights neighborhood of the Bronx. Appearing today on behalf of the Landmarks Preservation Commission are Stephen Thompson, Director of Community and Intergovernmental Affairs, and Kate Lemos McHale, Director of Research. Again, those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc/land use. Council, will you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hands and state your name for the record?
Kate Lemus McHale.
Stephen Thompson.
And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Applicant panelists, please begin.
Thank you, Chair Hanks. Good morning, subcommittee members. My name is Kate Lemus McHale, the Director of Research at the Landmarks Preservation Commission, joined by Stephen Thompson, our Director of Community and Intergovernmental Affairs. Thank you for the opportunity to present our recent designation of the Old Croton Aqueduct Walk. This designation was identified and prioritized on our recent comprehensive survey of the Bronx, an area where we have been working to increase landmark designations that reflect the diversity and rich heritage of our city. Next, please. Thanks. The Old Croton Aqueduct Walk is New York City's 12th and the Bronx's first scenic landmark. The Croton Aqueduct, completed in 1842, was the first direct water source to New York City, providing life-sustaining clean water. This engineering marvel allowed New York City's development to accelerate rapidly through the 19th century, during which the embankment atop the aqueduct became a favored public walkway. The section known as Aqueduct Walk was especially cared for by the communities of Fordham and University Heights, who fought for its preservation, eventually securing it as a permanent public park in 1930. The Commission received support for the designation from Councilmember Pirina Sanchez, representatives of the owner. It's owned by the Department of Parks and Recreation, with two very small lots, which I'll point out, that are owned by DEP. We also had support from the Bronx Borough President's Office, Bronx Community Boards 5 and 7, the New York Landmarks Conservancy, Historic Districts Council, and Friends of the Aqueduct Walk. And there was no opposition to the designation. Next, please. The Aqueduct Walk Scenic Landmark is located between West Kingsbridge Road and West Burnside Avenue in the Bronx. The landmark site is situated within a New York City park that comprises a small section of the entire length of the Old Croton Aqueduct. And it's 4.9 acres and approximately 1.5 miles long. Next, please. New York City desperately needed water by the early 1800s. Natural resources had been depleted. The water sources from wells was dirty. Disease was rampant. Fires burned without the ability to extinguish them, and the surrounding rivers offered no solution. The city began looking to construct an aqueduct north of the city in the early 19th century, and ground was broken on the Croton Aqueduct in 1837. Next, please. When the aqueduct was finally completed on July 4th, 1842, the water took 22 hours to reach Manhattan from Croton. Water became available for use on October 14th, 1842, and changed the lives of New Yorkers forever. The aqueduct meant fresh drinking water, clean streets, the ability to extinguish fires, plumbing for creature comforts, and allowed New York City to develop at an accelerated rate. Next, please. The aqueduct was named after the river, which was dammed for the water. Croton's name comes from the name of Chief Conotton, which means wind. The Croton Aqueduct is 45 miles of continuous horseshoe-shaped tunnel from Croton to Manhattan. This is an 1843 map showing the aqueduct and its grading within the city of New York. The entire length of the aqueduct is a National Historic Landmark, and the red star on this map indicates the location of Aqueduct Walk in the Bronx. Next, please. The aqueduct is powered by gravity, and so it has a continuous declination for its entire length. And that creates an interesting situation where the street level dips below the actual aqueduct itself. And so this stretch of it in the Bronx is really the largest part of it where it's actually above grade. And so you see, as a result, these stone embankments that date from the construction of the aqueduct in the 1830s and 1840. And so this is an image of that at 188th Street. Next, please. And then there's a very interesting layering of history and significance here. So we have the engineering marvel, but then the embankment on top of the aqueduct became a public walkway, and it was instantly really beloved. One notable frequenter of the walk was the poet Edgar Allan Poe. He enjoyed walks across the High Bridge once it was completed. And this is a painting of him doing that walk. And in 1910, the Bronx Society of Arts and Sciences wrote of Poe's beloved walk, quote, "No more delightful path can be imagined than the grassy turf above the aqueduct spring." Next, please. The city also in this area developed around the aqueduct, and the communities of Fordham and University Heights cared for the walk and fought for its preservation. They first opposed a trolley line along the aqueduct in 1903, and then in 1929 opposed the sale of the land for development. So the community was instrumental in the official takeover of the land by the city, and it became owned by the Parks Department in 1930. Next, please. In 1938, noted landscape architect Gilmore D. Clark, who had also designed the 1939 World's Fair and the Central Park Conservancy Garden, designed the new park. It included trees, lawns, plantings, horseshoe pitches, shuffleboards, sand pits, and playhouses. And Parks officially opened the Aqueduct Walk on April 27th, 1940, and it's continued to be an integral part of the community. Next, please. The designated Aqueduct Walk is the oldest landmark in New York City associated with the Croton Aqueduct system. It would also be the only one in New York solely associated with the old Croton Aqueduct system. Basically, as soon as the old Croton Aqueduct was built, it was so popular it needed to be expanded, and so then the new Croton Aqueduct was built. Next, please. Aqueduct Walk Park allows visitors to experience the aqueduct both on top of the old aqueduct conduit and alongside the stone embankment wall on the western side of the aqueduct between West Fordham Road and West 188th Street. And these are just views along the length of the park. As a scenic landmark, LPC is advisory to the Public Design Commission, and aspects like this, the continuous presence of a walkway, the visibility and condition and care of the historic embankments are things we would be looking at. Next, please. And the park has many entrances, including recently updated accessible ramps where the walk is at grade level, ramps to higher elevations, and updated stairs at historic locations and historic stairs. So part of the significance here also is the accessibility of the walk to the public. So I think future changes that increase accessibility would be in keeping with that history that's important here. Next, please. And then reflecting the park's long history of community use, the Parks Department has added various amenities in recent years, such as additional play spaces, seating areas, and accessible entrances. And these later improvements do not detract from the historically significant elements of the 1842 aqueduct or the park itself. Next, please. And so to conclude, the Croton Aqueduct was the first direct water source to New York City. It was long sought after and hard won. It was a life-sustaining engineering marvel constructed by immigrants that allowed the city to continue to develop at an explosive rate through the 19th century. After its construction, the walkway became a beloved path and open space, which continues to this day. So due to the engineering, the historical, the cultural significance, the commission voted to designate Old Croton Aqueduct as the Bronx's first scenic landmark, and we urge the council to uphold this designation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I turn to my colleagues for any questions or remarks, I want to note that Council Member Sanchez could not be here today, but has asked me to read a statement on her behalf. So she thanks me. Thank you, Chair, for reading my statement. I am in strong support of the historic landmark designation of the Old Croton Aqueduct Walk, which sits atop the Old Croton Aqueduct itself, an engineering marvel of its time built by immigrants. The aqueduct was constructed in 1842 and brought to the first direct supply of water to New York City from upstate. Since almost immediately after its completion, the Aqueduct Walk has been well known to New Yorkers, especially the Bronx residents, as an open space and park. Today, the Aqueduct Walk is the geographic spine of the Council District 14 and includes basketball courts, playgrounds, seating areas, and historic features of the park that have been maintained. For those who love the Aqueduct Walk, like friends of the aqueduct surrounding neighbors, we want to see its use and enjoyment continued for generations to come. I hope that my colleagues will join me in supporting this designation. So that concludes Councilmember Sanchez's statement. And now, do any of my colleagues have any questions for our LPC panelists?
I just want to express my support and excitement for this. As a Bronxite, someone who's walked it in the past, really excited to see this. So pre-congrats to Councilmember Sanchez and you folks at LPC.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes. So thank you. This applicant panel is now excused.
I also just wanted to briefly note that my colleague, Director of Research, Kate Lemos-McHale, is departing the commission after 7 years of service. She's moving beyond New York City, and so I wanted to apprise the subcommittee that this might be her final visit to these chambers, but we thank the subcommittee for welcoming her.
We thank you for all of your contributions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been an honor to share these designations with you and to work for the city, so appreciate it.
It's important work. We appreciate everything you've done. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on this item?
Chair, we're just going to check to see if there's anyone registered online. No, I'm seeing that we have no persons registered online. Anyone in the room wishing to testify should make themselves known at this time. Okay, it appears we have no one signed up to testify on this item.
There being no questions for this panel, witness panel is now excused. Can we call up the next panel, please? Sorry. Would there be no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding the preconsidered LU for the landmark designation of Old Croton Aqueduct Walk? The public hearing is now closed, and this item is laid over. I will now open the public hearing for two preconsidered LU items for proposal by the New York City Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development, including the designation of an Urban Development Action Area, approval of an Urban Development Action Area project, approval of an Article 11 real property tax exemption, approval of an Urban Development Action Area project real property tax exemption, and the disposition of city-owned land, which together will facilitate development of an affordable home ownership project collectively known as the Resilient Homes Staten Island Project in Councilmember Carr's Council District 50. Appearing today on those related items, we have Duncan Miller, HPD Senior Planner for Queens and Staten Island, Tamia Perry, CEO of Urban Eco Spaces Incorporated, and James T. Howard, President of JT Realty Advisors, LLC. We also have available for questions on behalf of HPD, Justin Donlin, Senior Project Manager, Government Affairs, Ryan Moritz, Director of Open Door Program, and Luz Torres, Senior Project Manager, Division of Homeownership Opportunities and Preservation, and I believe also Everett Perry and Kevin Paris. Those wishing to testify remotely must register online by visiting Council's website at council.nyc.landuse. Council, will you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hands and state your name for the record?
Tamia Perry.
Duncan Miller.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair Hanks, and thank you for everybody for being here today. I'm here to present on Resilient Homes Urban Ecospaces. I'm joined with our development partners, Urban Ecospaces, and I will be giving a brief introduction and background to the project and turn it over to our development partners to provide a bit more details on the project. Next slide, please. So to begin, the applicant is with New York City HPD, and our sponsor, our development partners, are Urban Ecospaces. This project first received ULURP City Council approval on October 16th, 2019. The proposed project is the first phase of that project. It calls for the new construction of 8 two-family homes and 7 single-family homes for a total of 23 units across 14 lots in the Midland Beach neighborhood of Staten Island, providing resilient and affordable home ownership and rental opportunities to the neighborhood. As mentioned earlier, the land use actions that we are seeking are a UDAP tax exemption, an Article 11 tax exemption, and approval for disposition of city-owned land. Next slide, please. So for some context, again, these are 14 sites scattered around Midland Beach. You can see the sites here. They are primarily scattered around Midland Avenue near...
Excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just have to interrupt your testimony by acknowledging that we have Council Member Nurse that has joined us, and if you would like to vote on the items.
I vote aye.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. Please continue.
Thank you. So as I was saying, these are 14 sites scattered around the Midland Beach neighborhood in Staten Island, primarily centered around Midland Avenue near Father Capodanno Boulevard. These are all these sites are within Community District 2 and Council District 50. They are all currently zoned R31 or R32, so they are low-density residential districts. These 14 sites are currently vacant and formerly held homes that were damaged during Hurricane Sandy and have since been demolished. And there's one site, if you note in the corner, that's about 2 miles north of the rest of the 13 sites, but they are all primarily in the same neighborhood. Next slide, please. So for a bit of background on the project as a whole, the Resilient Homes Staten Island project is part of the Build It Back program, which was established in response to Hurricane Sandy to devise resiliency strategies for homes and communities to mitigate the effects of future storms. Project Rebuild, Inc. is a nonprofit that was created by the city in 2013 to help administer the Build It Back program. In 2018, Project Rebuild acquired dozens of properties across Staten Island and demolished the damaged structures, leaving the vacant sites today. So as part of the rebuilding efforts, in 2018, HPD released the Resilient Homes RFP to develop 30 sites for affordable housing across Staten Island, Queens, and Brooklyn. They required submissions to incorporate resilient design and construction strategies. And Cluster A today is the first phase of the project, and as mentioned earlier, we'll develop 7 single-family homes, or 7 two-family homes, and 8 one-family homes across 14 lots in Midland Beach. And next slide, please.
Hi, I'm Tamia Perry, and I'm here on behalf of Urban Eco Spaces. We serve as the developer for the project. I'm going to provide a little context about what it is that we're proposing to build, but I also just want to provide some background because my company is a real estate development and construction firm, and we were heavily involved in rebuilding of Staten Island after Hurricane Sandy. We worked as a general contractor on many projects and had the opportunity to do work not just in Staten Island, but also in Brooklyn and Queens as well. And we did the most work in Staten Island. We probably completed 90 homes, which was, some of the homes were repaired. Some of the homes were modular construction homes. And even though we did 90 homes, 50 of those were in Staten Island. So we developed a deep connection to the community. So when this project came along, we were very eager to continue our work that we had done as part of Hurricane Sandy rebuilding. Just in terms of this project, as was mentioned, there are 14 sites in Midland Beach. There's also one site in South Beach for a total of 15 sites. We're proposing to build 23 units of affordable housing. As mentioned, they will be broken down into 8 two-family homes and 7 single-family homes. So in terms of the home ownership opportunity, 8 of the homes that are owned, those homeowners will have the opportunity, if they choose, to rent one of their units to help subsidize the cost of the home. The units will be a variety of sizes. The homes range in square foot size of 800 square feet to over 2,200 square feet. Some of the lots are smaller lots, and the unit sizes are broken down as 11 3-bedrooms, 8 2-bedrooms, and 4 1-bedrooms. So we've tried to maximize to the extent that we could the amount of bedrooms that we provided for each unit, obviously dealing with the size of the lots. The sales prices will be affordable for moderate income households that lie within the 80% to 130% area median income. And because the sites were sites that were previously damaged as a result of the hurricane, a lot of effort went into making sure that the builds are going to be resilient to the extent that another natural disaster occurs. We want to ensure that the homes are able to withstand any future flood events, any future wind events, any future rain events. So the design that's been included as part of the project is utilizing materials that are going to help with resiliency as well as sustainability as well as energy efficiency, which I'll talk a little bit about on the next slide. Next slide, please. So one of the most critical things that we're doing is that the homes are going to be elevated. Right, so to the extent that another flood comes through, the lower level of the home will be empty. Should water come through again, the water will just flow through the home and not damage any of the critical mechanical and electrical equipment that's in the home. We've decided to utilize a modular construction approach for this project, which means that the majority of the home will be built off-site in a factory-controlled environment. There are a number of advantages to using modular construction. One is efficiency. A home can be built in a modular factory within 7 3/4 days. It generates less waste and it creates less impact to the community because there's less noise, there's less construction going on. And because it's produced in an assembly line fashion, it's able to be produced in a much more energy efficient manner. We're working with a modular manufacturer in Staten Island that was also integral to the Build It Back program when Hurricane Sandy happened. So they're well familiar with building in the community. Each of the homes will be certified under the Enterprise Green Community Standards, ensuring that the homes are energy efficient. And some of the sustainable measures that we're intending to include are energy efficient windows, LED lighting, spray foam insulation, 30-year roofs, and water sense fixtures. In addition to being energy efficient, one of the great things is that over the course of the long term, it's going to cost less for a homeowner to maintain their home by having these elements in the home. Next slide, please. Project is being developed under HPD's Open Door program, and as part of that program, all homes have to be sold to first-time home buyers. So if you previously owned a home, you would not be eligible to purchase one of these homes. The anticipated area median incomes, as we discussed, are between 80 to 130%. And we've provided some initial sales prices. These are the projected sales prices that we intend to sell the homes to the community once they're completed. So as you can see, with the 7-1 families, the projected sales prices will range between $293,000 to $431,000, and the projected sales prices for the 8-2 families are $355,000 to $466,000. These houses present a substantial discount. As we all know, it's almost impossible to buy a house for these numbers. So it's offering the opportunity for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to own a home to own a home. For the rental units, we're proposing projected rents that will range between $1,900 to $2,500, depending upon whether you have a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom. And I think here we have a breakout just so everyone can see of the unit types, which we've discussed. Again, it's 4 1-bedrooms, 8 2-bedrooms, and 11 3-bedrooms for a total of 23 units. That's it. And that's all we have for our presentation. We thank you for the opportunity to present, and we're very excited about the project, and we hope that the community is as well.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, that was just really enlightening. It's great. We're all very excited about that. So before I turn to my colleagues for questions or remarks, I just want to note that Councilmember David Carr could not join us today, but he asked me to read the following statement on his behalf. And it reads, while other neighborhoods around the city have long since recovered from the devastation of Superstorm Sandy, several parts of my district are still rebuilding nearly 12 years later. The importance of quality housing for Staten Islanders cannot be understated when working to recreate the vibrant, livable, and resilient Midland Beach that so many Staten Islanders still need. This requires assurances from the government that this project will be an asset to rebuild efforts and community growth and will not damage the tightly knit community that already exists. Therefore, I'm requesting that HPD's Resilient Homes Staten Island project and the East Shore meet and adhere to the following criteria to ensure that in every case that Staten Island neighborhood and the local neighborhood residents are prioritized. Firstly, this project should primarily and effectively advertise to residents of our borough's community district too, as well as Staten Islanders more generally. Second, this project should first be advertised in the Staten Island Advance and its digital counterpart, SI Live. There should also be a paid social media campaign on Facebook and other platforms that are geo-targeted to Staten Island and its community district too in particular. Additionally, there should be tabling at Community District 2 events, as well as information sessions at that area civic associations well in advance of the opening of the application process. Fourth, this project should be advertised in Staten Island and Midland Beach in English, Spanish, Mandarin, and Cantonese, Albanian, Russian, and Italian. Finally, this project should do all it can to ensure that Staten Islanders are aware of and can apply for this program. This project is an opportunity to ensure resilient homes are built for Staten Islanders, and I want to work with the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development and the project sponsor to ensure that is exactly what happens. So that concludes my colleague's statement, and I also have some questions also on behalf of Councilmember Carr. One, can you elaborate on the design of these buildings and how they will respond to the context of the existing buildings in the neighborhood? Please be specific about materials and other design elements.
Sure. I'm going to have my colleague Everett, who heads up our construction division at Urban Ecospaces, come to speak on that.
Mr. Perry, would you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your answer to all council member questions?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, can you elaborate on the design of these buildings and how they will respond to the context of existing buildings in the neighborhood? Please be specific about materials and other design elements.
The design is going to be typical to what's currently there, most similar to the homes that were lifted after the event. So these are going to be colonial style homes. The exterior is going to be of hardy siding, which is a concrete fireproof board. They're going to be sprinklered for safety. There's going to be energy efficient, as we spoke about. The interior is going to be likely sort of an LVL flooring, which is it's LVL, right? A luxury vinyl tile flooring, or there could be some other carpeting within there. It's typically painted. There's going to be split minis, which are a HVAC system that's a high SEER, which is an energy efficient way of heating and cooling the homes. I'm trying to think what else I might be missing. There's going to be parking, if that makes that's good. We're working on that diligently. And it's going to be basically a typical house. It's just going to be lifted slightly higher than what's there. So if anyone is from Staten Island, if you drive in, you see you're from Staten Island. Okay, so if you think about those homes that are lifted, we're going to look just like that, except it's going to be new and it's going to be energy efficient.
Thank you very much. Yes, I represent Council District 49, and I walk that boardwalk every day, 8 miles. So
There you go.
that we do understand. It's incredible. Thank you. So the last question I have is that we want to make sure as many Staten Islanders know about this project. I think in council members' statement he made mention of that. But could you tell us more about your budget and how much it will be allocated to marketing and the specific ways you intend to advertise the units to ensure constituents are applying?
I'd like to
Please raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Justin Donlin.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your answer to all council member questions?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Chair, and thank you to Councilmember Carr for spelling that all out in his statement. So per the HBD marketing handbook, which basically all marketing agents, the marketing agents being those who will advertise the housing opportunities, there's standard guidelines that they have to follow. And first of all, I do just want to state for the record that HBD has to maintain a commitment to fair housing and inclusivity across all neighborhoods of the city, regardless of where someone's coming from and where their intended neighborhood is. But of course, we balance that against the critical need of New Yorkers, and in this case, Staten Islanders, to have opportunities to apply for housing in their district and stay in their district. So a number of the things that Councilmember Carr spelled out are things that will be required to begin with. So I'd like to walk through the 4 major requirements that any marketing agent has for HBD developments. So the first being that, because this is a homeownership project, 2 public homeownership information sessions have to be held with the public. The team must disseminate community outreach letters to both the community board and the council member, and this is kind of the formal heads up of where this opportunity will be located, the units, all the critical details of the project. And then advertisements have to be in at least 3 newspapers. So one of them must be citywide, one of them must be local. So the Staten Island Advance, as Councilmember Carr identified, would certainly meet the criteria for that. And then ethnic-based newspapers. And if they're published in another language, the advertisements must appear in that other language. And then just how it works, so the marketing agent begins official marketing period at least 6 months prior to the anticipated occupancy of the first units. In terms of the budgeting for this project, so at minimum, $30,000 is being designated for advertising and marketing efforts. Of course, nothing is final until the formal marketing plan is adopted, and that's developed in conjunction with HPD and the marketing agent.
Thank you so much. I guess I'm not going to recognize any of my colleagues. So thank you so much. This panel is now excused. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on this item?
As a reminder to anyone with us in person today wishing to testify on this item, you need to please see one of the sergeants to fill out a speaker card. Okay, it appears that there is no one here in person seeking to testify on this item, and we have no one registered online either.
There being no other members of the public who wish to testify regarding pre-considered LU items for the Resilient Homes Staten Island proposal, this public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over. You're excused.
Chair, just before we close, the vote currently the vote on today's land use items to approve LU 81, 80, to approve LU numbers 80, 81, 84, and 85. The vote is 6 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions. The items are adopted and referred to the full Land Use Committee.
Thank you, and that concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for your participation today. This meeting is hereby adjourned.